What's going on, guys? It's David with David's Lawn Care, and today I just got finished with my Snapper Kez Walkbehind. I've been working on it, trying to get it back to driving in usable condition after the original gearbox burned up in it. So now I'm going to give it a little bit of a test drive, hopefully, see if it'll work. I'm really hoping this thing will work, because this would be a real good piece of equipment to have along with my John Deere for the smaller properties and whatnot. But anyway, let's give her a test run and see what happens. I don't have much gas in it, so I may run it either until something breaks, I run out of gas, or it starts raining, because it looks like it's going to pour the rain. But anyway, let's get started and see what happens. See what we can tear up. If I can find a place to mount this camera. do believe deck belt come off. Deck belt is still on. Oh, I see. Linkage popped in. I used this machine for quite a while with this linkage like this, and it never did pop out. But now, it wants to always pop out. I kind of think my belt is a little too loose. As you can see, this machine is moving awfully fast too. That's way too loose, really. May need to get me yet another belt. That is as far out as this thing will go as well. It's too loose. Alright guys, so what I did here is basically this mower used to be set up with a single speed T-box and a variable speed pulley on the engine with a belt that stayed tight all the time, and you can adjust the tightness of the belt to vary the speed. Loosen the belt and it goes slower, tighten the belt and it go faster, or vice versa. I may have that wrong, but anyway, it worked off of a variable speed drive system. When the gearbox went, I took the shaft. This is the original shaft. It was a solid piece. Took it out, cut it to length, mounted this Peerless 700. This is pretty much the same kind of setup as you find in a Skag Walkbehind. Mounted the shaft to the axle shafts on the gearbox. Welded it. I didn't want to weld it, but couplers that would go on this are like 18 bucks a piece. May have been worth it, but I'm not willing to put much more money into this machine. I got this gearbox for free, but I welded the shaft to the couplers, used the original disc brake and chain sprocket as an adapter to line my shafts up, and then welded them in place. So now this transmission pretty much works the same as the original did. I leave it in gear all the time, and just to let my wheel belts determine if the machine is in neutral or not by these handles. I lock them into the neutral position and keeps it from moving as I'm starting the machine up or whatever. The transmission goes all the time, so I can start it up in whatever gear I want it to. It does have 5 speeds forward and 1 reverse and a neutral. And so far, from this little test, it seems like this setup is going to work. I don't know how long it'll work, but it looks like it's going to work. So I'll keep you guys updated on what happens with this setup. Hopefully it'll work good. The engine, I bought this engine, I actually got 4 engines for 20 bucks, and the guy said that this one and another one just like it ran, so luckily they do run. And this engine seems to have plenty of power for a little 10.5 horsepower. But hopefully this engine will stay good for me, keep working real good for me. The belt, I am going to get a tighter belt, I believe. This is a brand new belt. I don't know if it's already stretched out some or what the deal may be, but I'm going to try and get a little bit tighter belt. I did originally have one that was 2 inches shorter than this, and it seemed to be way too tight. And this one here, I figured it'd be just right, but I may have to go an inch tighter than this if I can exchange it. I'm not sure if I can exchange it now, but I'm really happy with this initial test. One other little tip on something, if you make racing mowers or got a no walk behind you're working on, or just anything where you require a dead man switch, get one of these button or plunger type switches. There's a YouTube video about a guy that done this for his racing mower. This one here has 4 connectors on it. Just find which connectors work, drill a small hole through it, put a pin in it. So now if the machine gets away from me, I put this rope, the string around my wrist. If the machine gets away from me, boom, the engine stalls, or the engine quits, and the machine does no damage or anything. But anyway, hopefully we'll see more action of this. I'm going to get a new belt for it, a little bit smaller deck belt, and see what happens. I believe the only thing that's going to give me any trouble at some point will be the drive system. And if this drive system messes up at this point, I'll just take the drive system completely off, leave the engine on it to where it will still mow, and convert it into a tow behind mower. I can raise the rear end up a little bit more or just leave it as it is. I can raise the front up. This thing will cut about 10 inches high by the time you adjust the washers on the deck spindles and the wheels and adjust them and everything. This thing will cut really high. I could cut a hayfield with this thing probably. It cuts really high if you adjust everything. But anyway, the possibilities on this thing are endless really, but hopefully I can keep it in this setup, use it for lawn mowing. That's what it does best. It does a real good job at lawn mowing. It's a very versatile machine compared to, say, my John Deere. I could take this machine and go places that John Deere can't just because of its being so small and everything. But anyway, guys, it is very humid out here. We are about to get a lot of rain, most likely, but we need it. I'm drenched from just what little time I was mowing. And you've seen, hopefully you could tell, that this thing really books now. This thing goes fast, faster than I kind of like it to. But it's gonna roll for me. At least it's working. Hopefully it'll work. We shall see, and I'll keep you all updated. But anyway, guys, if you have them walk behind with one of these type of gearboxes and you run into the same kind of problem with the transmission going bad, a little bit of fab work, well, not necessarily fab work, but a little bit of mechanical work, and you can get a Peerless 700 or a similar type gearbox and put on a machine like this. There are walk behinds I've seen, even bigger, more commercially type walk behinds. A lot of your Lowe's 33-inch walk behinds like Cup Cadet and Troy Bilt, they use this type, but they're more of a residential mower. But anyway, there is some walk behinds that use just a normal transmission like you would find in, say, your Craftsman or some similar type small riding mower. A little bit of engineering, a little bit of work, you can make one of them work in these. They're completely flat decked. You can make one of them type of transmissions mounting these on top or on the bottom. But anyway, good little video. I'm glad this has turned out the way it has. And until next time, this is David with David's Lawn Care. Hope you have a good one. See ya.